don't know what the purpose of a Bitcoin central reserve is, and I haven't seen the details of why that's important.
Bitcoin is emerging as the world's reserve capital network. People are realizing that Bitcoin is better than real estate. It's better than stocks. There's not a single company or real estate property that you would rather own for the long term than Bitcoin. So the very simple idea is buy 20 or 25% of the Bitcoin network on behalf of the U.S. government, catalyze the development of that world reserve capital network, and then let all the Chinese and the Russians and the foreigners sell all their other assets and buy Bitcoin, and then the money flows into the United States. If you want to put a great twist on it, dump your gold, sell all the U.S. gold, buy Bitcoin, then the trade is free because you could buy 5 million Bitcoin for the cost of the gold. You will demonetize the entire gold asset class, and our enemies hold gold in their banks. So their assets would go to zero. Our assets would go to $100 trillion, and we would control the world's reserve capital network as well as the world's reserve currency network.
Michael Saylor sitting here telling you the end game of how the United States can monetize Bitcoin, but also use it as a strategic play against its enemies. You see what's happening behind closed doors. We have a pro-Bitcoin president. We have individuals like Elon Musk. We have Michael Saylor that is going to be probably consulting and advising the presidential cabinet as far as how the U.S. should pivot moving forward. And with that, what's happening, Crypto Crew? Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video.
Hey guys, sorry for the quick interruption, but if you're interested in trading MicroStrategy options, any other stock out there, Bitcoin, Solana, or any other crypto out there, you can now do that on MooMoo. And if you sign up with our affiliate link, which we pin in the comment section, also in the description below, when you sign up and deposit any amount, you're going to receive up to 20 free stocks, and each one of these stocks could be valued at up to $2,000. So make sure to sign up with MooMoo. Go get that free money. Now let's go ahead and get back to the video.
And as we've seen, Max Kaiser raise his Bitcoin prediction from 220,000 to $2.2 million. Does he see something that we don't? Does he know something that we don't? Be prepared for the massive melt up to the upside. It could be happening sooner than you anticipate. And coming in from Rec Capital, yesterday Bitcoin showed some signs of a relief rally, after which price was rejected to almost new lows. Today, Bitcoin is rebounding yet again and once again into old support. Overall, as long as the previous lost support returns to a new resistance, additional downsides should be expected. Conversely, reclaim these previous lows that would be lost, and that would be obviously bullish. So at the current time it's recording, we're seeing Bitcoin come in at 97.8. And right here, you see this uptrend. This is Bitcoin on the weekly chart. So we're going to look at this on the weekly. Let's zoom this out so we can see the bigger macro time frame. And if we zoom into the current price action, we see this is what he's talking about right here. You see this low, and you connect all these previous dots here. And at the current time it's recording, we see that we do actually see a potential breakout. This is on the weekly. Will this hold? Because look at his chart here. You see he just connected these dots to a perfect line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Broke below it. Retest. Could see further price action to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4. Broke below it. Retest. Could we see that continuation to the downside? Right now, we're right at this level. So we need this level to hold. We have to wait potentially till next week. This is week open. So this level holds. Then if we get back above this at the close, it could be a continuation. This is a huge bearish engulfing candle. So typically on these retracements, we could see most retracement levels go up to roughly about a third of the way of the overall candle body. That's where most retracements go. And then the second most level is about the 50% threshold. Now, if we get back above both of these levels and hold, then we're going to probably be continuation to the bullish upside. But if this is just a retracement and then a continuation to the downside, we could see lower price action. Not saying that the bull market's over with, but lower price action for more optimal buy opportunities. Now look at MicroStrategy. We showed you this. Look at these moving averages. This is something to definitely pay attention to, because right now we're below this moving average, and we came back and retested it, and we're just sort of sitting below it. And could we get into oversold territory? We haven't came all the way below the 30 range on the RSI. So this is something to definitely pay attention to, because we could come a little bit lower, maybe fill this gap around the 280 to 290 range. We could see that. The Bitcoin bros definitely could see a scenario where that is the case before we sort of base out and decide to go back up for higher price action. So you've been seeing a lot of marketing campaigns from Michael Saylor. He's been active in the media. What Michael's talking about with the growth of the digital monetary system.
Once you master Bitcoin, you can figure out how to save your wealth, how to economically prosper. It works for a country, a company, a family, an individual. Nobody owns it. It's a utilitarian, egalitarian entitlement, just a good for the world. That's why I'm so enthusiastic about it. So we're offering investors whatever degree of risk and performance they want. And there's hundreds of trillions of dollars in the capital market that absolutely has to buy a security, and they cannot buy the commodities.
Right. Well, that was Executive Chairman of Microstrategy, Michael Saylor, on the promising potential of Bitcoin. Joining us now to weigh in, Coin Stories podcast host, Natalie Brunell. Natalie, MicroStrategy made its debut on the NASDAQ 100. We know that. Saylor certainly is putting a lot of chips down on the future of Bitcoin. I mean, how does this pay off for him, do you think?
Well, hi, Ashley. Happy holidays. Thank you for having me. I mean, MicroStrategy pioneered the Bitcoin treasury strategy. It is using intelligent leverage, and its inclusion in the NASDAQ 100 is extremely legitimizing for both the asset and the company. And now everyone who invests in ETFs that track the NASDAQ will be getting some Bitcoin exposure, and it will mean a lot of passive flows for MicroStrategy that will boost the stock, which has already outperformed almost every company in the stock market. And as for Michael Saylor, I mean, he has become a pivotal voice in really shaping the Bitcoin conversation here in the US, especially among major corporations. And he's advocating for a regulatory framework that not only encourages innovation, but also makes clear distinctions for our country between digital currencies, digital commodities, and digital securities, and emphasizing the importance of outlining the responsibilities of issuers and companies so that we have a transparent, compliant, and very long-term stable industry.
You know, Natalie, earlier this year, as you referenced, Bitcoin spot ETFs hit the market, but last week they saw a record $671.9 million in outflows. And now, as we know, Bitcoin is well below its high of 106,000 that it hit earlier this month. So my question after all of that is, are we in a buying opportunity right now?
Absolutely. It's always a good time to buy Bitcoin, especially when it pulls back. We really saw the entire market take a breather after the Fed sounded a little more hawkish last week. And I think that's why we've seen some of the outflows. But that doesn't change the fact that the Bitcoin ETFs have had the most successful launch of all time. I mean, take BlackRock's ETF, for example. Its assets under management are already $20 billion higher than its gold ETF after just 12 months of trading. So digital gold is proving far superior to traditional gold, and you can focus on just 1 week, but I would zoom out and focus on this historic run that Bitcoin and the ETFs have had. And yes, it's a good time to get in.